Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining our Matchmaker session today. My name is Hannah Stace, and I am the project coordinator at CityLab. Matchmaker events are where we learn more about the projects that have been submitted by staff members and work with our faculty members to try and find a good student, faculty, and staff partnership to tackle these projects. Today, we are joined by Kristen Orr, physical activity specialist, and we will also be working with Callaway Johnson, program coordinator of schools and community. Kristen brings us a community engagement project to understand how to get secondary students to engage in active and sustainable modes of travel. So I'll hand it over to you, Kristen. Thank you for bringing a presentation.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me. So our project today is getting teens to school. So as Hannah mentioned, I am a physical activity specialist within public health, but our program sits under sustainable mobility, which is under transportation planning and parking. So public health is the supportive service. However, I am leading all this research development for our projects. Okay, so a little bit of context. For the city of Hamilton, we've had over 20 years of some form of active and sustainable school travel planning occurring, whether that was school travel planning or other promotional type events around active school travel. So prior to COVID and the majority of the 20 years, it was only focused on elementary schools because they were going through this certification process, which was more time intensive. However, secondary schools were always kind of left to the side, and we need to know how to interact with this age group. So some key considerations from our own work in elementary schools and discussions that we have with the school boards and the school administration at secondary schools are around safety. Of course, that's always number one, to make sure no matter how individuals are traveling through our communities, they're doing that safely. Accessibility, to make sure that we're providing options, whether you want to walk, roll, bus, wheel, take a vehicle, whatever you're doing, you have access to all the options that everybody else has, which leads into our equity lens from public health. Of course, we are trying to make ensure that we bring equity into all of our projects, whether it's through health lens or access to services and programs. And we want a decision-making process that puts the students at the heart of this, which is why we have already reached out to our school boards and schools to really lead the project. And the question that we're posing is, how do we get secondary school students to engage in active and sustainable modes of travel? So we're looking for a student-driven approach. We're looking at some primary research potentially. But the big component of this for us is the marketing campaign, because communications, education, awareness are a large part of what we do in our programming. And if we have the time, pilot some of those messages that were coming out of the marketing campaign. Otherwise, that'll be a follow-up to the work that's done by the undergraduate students within the project. So we're hoping to have something start in September. We've left it open to be the entire school year, but are also happy to do one semester. The schools represent Hamilton's diversity, so we do have confirmation from both school boards that the public school board will be Bernie Custis. And for those that might not be aware, Bernie Custis is directly across from the stadium. It also has, just off the map, an elementary school quite closely located. And then for the Catholic School Board, we have St. Thomas More, which is on the escarpment, almost in with the farm fields, kind of just to the south of it. It's on Upper Paradise Road, bordered between Stone Church and Rymal. So they all have access to public transportation and some active travel infrastructure, however, to varying degrees, and they serve very diverse socioeconomic communities, as well as the health equity disparities between these two schools. So our process has been, of course, to follow City Lab, and we'll have one point of contact with the city, which would be myself, who will provide the supervision that the students need from the city's perspective. But we do have a team of mentors made up of the stakeholders with school board, school staff, and then within sustainable mobility, which is Callaway Johnson, who wasn't able to attend today. One very positive thing already is we have a school group, like a volunteer group at Bernie Custis that the principal is putting together for us to kind of work as an advisory board from a research lens, but for himself, it's more of a club that the students can get involved in if they're interested in any aspect of active and sustainable travel. So that's it for me. Please do reach out if you have any questions.
Thank you, Kristen. That was a wonderful overview. I think you actually incorporated everything I was looking for. I guess just to follow up on that, is there specific reasons that this project is being brought forth right now? And is there a specific direction you hope to take it in after you get the results from this project?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, only elementary schools have ever been targeted with active and sustainable school travel from the city of Hamilton's perspective.
Right.
So as a new addition to this team,
Yeah.
saw the gap, and I want to be able to meet the needs of all of our students in the city. So the idea is if we have these two schools where messages are coming from the students themselves and the issues that they face getting to school, that can help us generalize our program to all secondary schools, in addition to the work that we already do with the elementary.
Wonderful. That makes sense. And then, yeah, no, that actually covers it for me. Actually, one question, are the representatives from the schools willing to meet a certain amount of times? Is that defined yet?
So the benefit of having this as a school club be the youth advisory, we have the ability to say how many times would be beneficial for us to meet. So if it's something where they say maybe twice a month, we can do this, or we say once a month, either way, we'll have a way to do that. And then at these schools, we'll also have a sustainable way for the messaging to continue, whether or not it gets piloted. Those schools can kind of take this and run.
Nice, wonderful. I'm excited about this project. I'm glad it's happening. And I could see there potentially being multiple parts. If a full year course doesn't work out, there could be sort of the research section and then a pilot section. And so that's exciting to see the possibilities here.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that whoever takes on this project has the flexibility to meet our goal, but also to meet their own research goals that they may have.
Yes, wonderful. Well, thank you, Kristen. I'll close the formal part. Yeah, we'll reach out if we have more questions. Thank you.